be known, then its real nature is open to experience. First, accept that the self exists. Accept that the self can be known. Then the self's true nature is open to experience, to be experienced. This made me think about January 26th, 2020. It was a Sunday. I happened to have been the guest speaker here that day, January 26th, 2020. And, none of us remember what I said anyway. So, yeah, go back. Yeah, right. Yeah. It was good, though. But yeah, no. But what I remember from that day, I don't even remember what I said that day, hardly. I could go back and look. But what I do remember is after service was over, someone, I don't remember who, came in the door after service was over and said, "Did you hear Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter accident just now?" And of course, shockwaves through the church. Particularly in LA, he meant a lot. One thing that was interesting, right before or shortly before he passed, and maybe some of y'all saw this, it was a short film, it won an Oscar. It's this thing he wrote, and it was called Dear Basketball, right? You saw that? It's really beautiful, and he talks about how it had me think, well, what is basketball? And you could say, well, yeah, it's you set up two hoops and you got a ball, you bounce the ball, you double dribble, travel, 3-point line, right? Basketball. But I don't know if that's really what basketball is, but I got some of it when I was talking to him, when I was listening to this Dear Basketball, because he said it all started, he was about 5 or 6 years old, and he rolled up a pair of socks, and the trash can was over there, and he just went, and it went in. And he said, from that moment, in Dear Basketball, he said, from that moment, I fell in love with you, basketball, and that was it. But that wasn't basketball, was it? That was socks in a trash can. But it is basketball, though. That is basketball. So then I gotta say, well, what is basketball? You can have basketball without a basketball, without a rim, without 94 feet of court, without referee, without 3-point shot. All you gotta do, because there's something inside of you. And who has not? Now, if before I said this, if I said, who plays basketball? No one would raise their hand. But now, in light of what Kobe said about what it is, who's played who's had some basketball in them? Whether it's the washing machine, it could be a spoon in the sink, empty water bottle, I didn't say you were making your shots, but I said you got some basketball. Well, then here's the question. Well, what is basketball then? That's something to think about. Kobe talked about from that moment, I fell in love with you, basketball. I fell in love so deeply, and I gave you my entire mind and my entire body and my heart, my spirit, my soul. I gave it to you, basketball. I gave you everything I had. But then I'm like, well, what is basketball? In that sense, basketball is a discipline. A discipline is anything that anybody can want it, can have even a piece of it in them, but what separates all of us got a little basketball in us, but none of us are really playing no basketball, What's the difference? The only difference is discipline. How much was put into it? This is true for so many things in life. All of us got a little music in us, but there's precious few of us that really making some music. But when we hear music, we know music when we hear it and we got it in our soul. And I can't do it. If I pick up the guitar, I got it in my soul and I want to Jimi Hendrix. I want to. I just want to rock out with it. I want to go like this. But it's not going to sound good if I do that. Even I got it in my soul. Music! I love it. The only difference is the amount of discipline that I have invested. Not enough. Well, enough for me, but not enough to make it be all that it could be. Same with Kobe with the basketball. I have fun with it. I might even go out to the park sometimes if I'm compelled to do it. I'll shoot some layups. I'll practice some free throws. I could dribble between my legs. I learned that when I was a kid. But I have not made it all that it could be. It's fascinating because even in Kobe, when he talks about Dear Basketball, he would say, I didn't make it all that it could be. I missed almost half the shots I took. But I gave it all that I had for it to be. All the things of life that are really disciplines. This is getting us into an understanding of what discipline is. Because when I first said discipline, was I the only one when I hear the word discipline, I see mom or grandma taking off the belt. I see a school principal with a ruler pulling ears. Discipline. I see waking up when I don't feel like waking up, right? Discipline. But all of these things are discipline. So basketball can be a discipline for sure. Music can be a discipline. Cooking can be a discipline. See, I got a little bit of cooking. See, so I can put some onions on a pan and I can get some sizzle going. I say, hey, I'm cooking. And I can do it, right? Put a little butter in there. I'm cooking. That's not a 5-star. Trust me, that's not a 5-star experience. Fortunately, the secret ingredient is love. I got that. But the technical of, there's further in the discipline that I can go if I chose to. All these things. Anything, They had UFC last night, fighting. Everybody got a little fight in them. But would you step in the ring, in the octagon, with a jiu-jitsu master? No, I got a lot of fight in me. Sure, that's great. But do I have the discipline for that particular discipline? Right? So, playing basketball is a discipline, playing music is a discipline, cooking is a discipline. There are others, there's many others, right? Golf is a discipline. The more you do it, the better you get, and you're still not quite perfect at it. Here's one thing. What about the self? What about being me? Yeah, of course I'm being me. Of course I am. Who else can I be? I'm being me. I'm being me like I'm playing basketball. So, yeah, anybody who can take a pair of funky socks and go like this and then throw it and then miss the trash can, they got basketball in them. That's great. That's a long way from really playing basketball. Anyone who is blessed to be born as a mammal, congratulations, you are yourself. But are you really able to are you being your full self? The only difference between me just being me and me fully realizing myself is discipline. It's important to understand I think it was Buddha, we see the world not as it is, we see the world as we are, right? And think about it. If there was let's just say there was a rope right here, just a 5-6 foot rope right here, right? This is an example of how, just on the ground, we see the world not as it is, we see the world as we are. Because if somebody laid that rope there, if I was deathly afraid of snakes and I didn't see you put the rope there, when I turn and see it, what do I see? But it's not a snake though. But my mind has retouched it, has photoshopped it, and turned it into a snake. Until I can have enough discipline, enough learning, enough self-control to say, wait a minute, and see it for what it actually is. Or let's say I was a sailor and I know how to tie 30 different knots because that's what my discipline was. Now when I turn and see the rope, I'm seeing a solution to problems. I'm seeing a way to fix it. I'm seeing an opportunity to practice knots. Maybe I could show y'all some knots. So, but it's still a rope. It could be other things too. That's just 2 examples. It could be a snake. It could be, right? So it's not even about what it is, but the more discipline that I have, the more I'm able to see things for what they are. And I think that's what we're getting at today. Discipline empowers the ability to see things as they are. Discipline is the mechanism by which we go from seeing the world as we are to seeing the world as it is. Without discipline, without learning, what is discipline? Discipline is it's learning, it is being trained in a set of codes and a set of virtue and a way of doing things. Discipline is how we sharpen the creative nature. We're all born, I'm in God's image and I'm a creative vessel and God is the creator of heaven and earth and I'm made in God's image, therefore I'm creative too. Yeah, I'm creative too. I could be creative on the guitar, I could be creative in the pulpit, I could be creative on the basketball court, but guess what would make me more creative? More discipline. So now you see Steph Curry, he look like he's out there just having fun just from 50 feet away. But that comes as a result of discipline. This is what it said in Hebrews. Discipline produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. But it's necessary to submit ourselves on some level to somebody's discipline. When kids are young, I wonder what the reason is that we don't say to a 5, 6, 7-year-old, would you like to wake up and go to school today? Would you like toast and eggs for breakfast, or would you like Skittles for breakfast? Do you feel like doing your homework, or do you want to just watch TV? I wonder what the reason is that we don't ask that in that way. And I think it has something to do with the fact that humans, we're going to take the easy way out when we can. But the beauty of discipline is that it really is ultimately the easy way, even though it's hard at first. You see that? Which is harder? To get up and work out every day, or to struggle with diabetes, high blood pressure, and obesity? Which one is harder? Which one is more expensive? Which one is more costly? We're talking about discipline. So as a creative being, and it's beautiful to just be God, and you are, you don't have to do anything. Just as you are. That's great. That's fantastic. And to get to the depths of basketball, it's going to take some drills. It's going to take some practice. It's going to take some trial and error. It's going to take some intention. It's going to take some showing up. It's going to take some playing through injuries. It's going to take some figuring out how to do it as a team when I'd rather just run off and just do it by myself. But you got to do it as a team because that's what basketball is. And so similarly, I can be myself, just be myself. But to get to the depths of creativity, the depths of power, the depths of healing, the depths of wisdom and understanding, the depths of God in as, it's going to require a little bit of learning, or a lot of it, a lifetime of learning. A few things with discipline. All right, let me give this to you. Like they say, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to sit down. Discipline, all right, get it. It's not passive, it's not pleasant, and it's not personal. All right. It's not passive. But see, right here, let me get you. Because it's inspiring to look at someone disciplined. It's inspiring to look at a musician who's really put in those hours. It's inspiring to watch Kobe and, rest in peace. Inspiring to watch any of them, especially now the championship is on the line and they digging deep and they're hitting clutch shots. And it's so inspiring. It really, really is. And then I could change the channel. And then, like I said, it's Top Chef. And you ever see how quick they can chop? I can't chop like that, I tried it once, I got this, I got the scar to prove it. I tried. But and they're chopping so fast, and then it's almost like when they do it, the pan sizzles different, right? And then I could change the channel again, and I'm watching American Ninja Warrior, and then they jumping across the thing, right? If you watch that, it's so inspiring. It is, but unfortunately, I could be inspired watching it all day, but then none of that has made me better at any of that. I'm just watching somebody else. Discipline is not passive. What does that have to do with the spiritual journey? I do this sometimes. Well, if I get up, I go to church, I'll sit there, and if the choir is good, then I'll be moved and inspired. And if they're really good, I might even give them a standing ovation. And I'll say, man, that was so good. And then the preacher get up here sweating and hopping. Lord, he preached. Your messages are so inspiring. I can't, oh my gosh, where do you come up with all of this? It's so good. I'll see you next week. And then walk out really patting myself on the back like, yeah, I went to church. I'm closer to God now. Yeah, I did that. But that's no different than watching sports on TV or watching a chef on TV or watching discipline. Watching discipline can inspire us to get our own discipline, but that is not, I ain't done nothing yet. Discipline is not passive. So it's not just in watching Kobe or watching anybody, but at least when I watch Kobe, I said, well, at least let me roll up some socks myself. But now if that's really the path I want to go down, discipline looks like this. Let me see, because then at some point it's not going to be fun. At some point. Right here in the Bible, it says, no discipline, no paideia, no learning, no instruction, no, what's the word I'm looking for? Chastisement, no correction seems pleasant at the time. So you mess around and watch Kobe or all the rest play, and then you say, that's so inspiring, I want to do that. And then you get out on the court and you say, well, what did you do, Kobe? He says, well, first thing I do, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I make 1,000 free throws, right? Then I take a little break. I come back, I run 10 miles. Then I make 1,000 more free throws. Then I work on the footwork. Then I get in a bathtub full of ice for 10 minutes. Then it's my son's birthday party, but I miss it because I'm going to this other thing to get my discipline locked in. Now, that's a long way from just shooting some musty socks into a trash can. But see, at some point, in order to grow, in order to change, by definition, it's not pleasant. This is why Jesus said, unless you change and become like children, you can't enter the kingdom of heaven. Because when a child, 1 year old, is learning how to walk, they fall on their butt a few times, they bump their heads a few times, it's frustrating, they try. And if you've seen a kid try to learn how to walk or try to learn how to talk, they don't quite have the words yet, and they're trying, but they don't have it yet, and you're trying to talk to them, and you can tell they get frustrated because they want to do it. Now see, but a kid is designed for that. That's discipline. That's learning. That's going from where you are to, I was going to say someplace greater, but what it really is from where you are to a deeper, more comprehensive, more godly version of self. Now a kid I'm trying to learn to walk, and they keep falling over and getting back up and getting back up. Let a 40, 50, 60-year-old try to learn how to walk. Let you fall 2 good times. Well, I'm on Amazon looking at these electric chairs. They deliver it right to the house, but then, you got to pay to have it assembled, but that's okay because I ain't doing all that either. But discipline is never pleasant until we can get in the habit. So I said it's not passive, it's not pleasant, it's not personal, unless we make it that. It's not passive. Yeah, we got to get active with it. We got to get with it. But then a funny thing happens when you submit yourself to discipline for long enough and get into it, you start to form a habit. I've known folks who run and then they get into running. Every morning I got to run my miles. And then after a while, it's to the point I'd be more impressed if they didn't run one day than if they did, because it's become a habit now. It's not always pleasant until you make it pleasant. Am I the only one who got introduced to kale, and the first time I tried it, I was like, nah. But they said it's so good for you. They said the folic acid. They said this, to that, to this, and that. And I kind of got into it. And then another day I came back, tried it again. I said, well, okay, I do feel better. Okay, yeah. And then another day I got into it. So none of it is pleasant at first. Why isn't it pleasant? Because we are used to being how we used to be. And discipline by definition says you are not showing up as the fullest, divinest version that you could be. Let's get on that road toward improvement, toward enhancement, toward godliness. But I've been doing it like this. Discipline is, well, I've been doing it like this. And then someone says, nope, do it like this. And then when they do that, as soon as they turn their back, what do we do from habit? And then they go, nope, do it like this, right? And then, okay, all right. And then even I say, okay, no, I really am going to do it. But see, then the habit is hardwired subconsciously. It kind of goes like this. And then they turn around and look at me again, go like this. I go, nope, I got you. I got you. But see, now, maybe I go like this again. Maybe they go like this again. See, now I don't like you. But that's the last one of this. Discipline is not personal. Now, folks can have a vendetta. Folks can make your life rough. And that can be personal. But the discipline, what you get out of it, is not personal. Now, the field you choose to hone discipline in might be personal to you. I have a theory, though. They say how you do anything is how you do everything. And I watched Muhammad Ali's funeral with Nirvana, actually. I just happened to be at his house when it was on, and we were watching it, and I remember thinking, and everyone, what a great man, Muhammad Ali, right? Forget about it. And I remember thinking, man, I bet if Muhammad Ali sold shoes, real estate, I bet he would have been pretty good at it. I bet if he sold real estate, he would have been a multi-million-dollar, he would have been, right? So, but then sometimes I'll say, well, I got to find my thing. Okay, well, find the thing that is giving you joy, because you're going to need that joy to deal with the other side of the coin, the discipline that is necessary. No one is doing a successful business or reaping blessings or, as the kids, it's graduation season. Some kids got so many ribbons and buttons and stuff, they don't know what to do. Some other kids just kind of slid on in. Now, yeah, and academia is not for everyone, and some people do better than others. But for the most part, there is a correlation between the discipline, the hours, the sacrifice, the humility to get yourself corrected and changed, and the outcome on the other side. And that is not personal. So, just like in life, it's interesting. We choose what we get to eat, don't we? We choose how much we're going to move or exercise or get up or get down. Do you know that those two being true, we must choose every aspect of life. We choose when we're victimized and when we overcome. Since this thing is God, but I'm just walking around. Yeah. I like what I like. I don't like what I don't like. And then as years go on and we age, we get more set in the way we were. And the way it's been is going to be the way it is and forever shall be. That's a choice too. And discipline is another choice. So Kobe said it. Dear basketball, you asked for hustle. That's a part of the game. He said, I gave you my entire heart. It required playing hurt. He said, yeah, you got paid too. But I never did it for the money, because I didn't start it for the money. I did it, he said, his words, he said, I did it because you've made me feel alive. Whatever, and any discipline will get us there when we go deep enough. I like to have my nose in a nonfiction book more than most. And that's become a discipline. That's great. It's nothing personal. It's not so much of chasing the discipline, but it's what in pursuing that discipline, pursuing that learning, and knowing that I still don't quite have it right and letting somebody correct, that the best is brought out of me and the best is brought out of you. And my prayer here right now is that knowing how discipline can empower us to see things as they truly are, how it can sharpen and hone our creativity and unlock the full potential of who we are in one discipline of life. You know, writing's a discipline, football's a discipline, shopping's a discipline, however we do it. Oh, somebody felt good about that. Yeah, shopping. It is a discipline. Not chasing it for the sake of chasing it. Christ said, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added unto you as well. He also said that's going to come with persecutions. We know that no discipline, no change, no expansion, no stepping out of the comfort zone seems pleasant at the time. In fact, it's downright painful, and the human drive to survive makes us want to avoid pain. But in wisdom, acknowledging the divinity within, acknowledging our role in as God, brings us to a recognition of what is possible, to an honor of the path of discipline, for the reminder to not be weary in well-doing, for the knowledge that whatsoever we sow, that we shall reap.